Greetings folks, your friendly neighborhood like this gate here. Thought I might do a quick walk and a talk before the sun sets. So, this is kind of a broad topic. Touches on mainly morality. I seem to be drawn to that whole moral thing. But, anyways. The idea, very crudely and very simply put, of divine command theory is that God is all good, therefore whatever he commands is good. Very, very simple. But what does this good and all good mean? Now, tied in with this is the biblical record. I'm taking just one example from the biblical record. This all good God, okay, the biblical record, has many rules and laws pertaining to one person owning another, either as a indentured servant to pay off a debt or whatever it is, for a certain amount of time for a fellow Hebrew, or as actual chattel slavery. The more basic, you own the person as a possession. So there are these laws in there, and that's fine, that's well and good. We'd expect to find these things in a text that originates, well, the older kind of stuff, in the ancient Near East. Because we find, for the vast majority of recorded history at least, that slavery is pretty ubiquitous. It's just a common thing. It was actually a backbone of the ancient economy, slavery, it could be argued. Now, this is very interesting because, okay, nowadays, it's basically outlawed globally, although, of course, it's still practiced here and there, it still occurs, still happens, but it is, in some way, shape, or form, being fought against globally. It could be argued, I guess, that it just, in the Western world, it's changed into wage slaves, but that's another discussion altogether. So, what we find in a text that we know comes from the ancient Near East, it's, of course I know it runs over many decades. It's been written by many different people, of course, so granted. But to me, nowadays, slavery is just frowned upon. It is not good. So I think I would be more convinced of this all good God if the biblical record, I know this is a contemporary thing, these things, morals change, ethics change over time, but bear with me. If in the biblical record instead, maybe there was something in there that said, whereas all the other nations include ownership of fellow citizens and fellow human beings, don't be like the other nations. All your people should be free. No slaves. See, I would look at that and go, oh, look at that. Look at that. But no, that doesn't occur. Instead, we have what we would expect to find in a cultural document from that time. man-made laws dealing with slavery, which is fine. So I find it's so untenable, this claim, this idea that read the Bible and do what it says, as G-Man says so many times. It's funny, because there are many more documents out there to actually read and listen to. Go find them yourself. It's very interesting. So these apologetics that are gold medal gymnastics to try to explain these things are just funny, because why? Just accept it. It's a cultural document. It is not the inerrant word of God, written by men inspired by anything but their own society and their own culture at the time. I mean, it's simple. Very simple. Because really, I mean, if I saw that in some old document like that, I'd go, whew, well, look at that. There's something pretty revolutionary. Now, I know Jesus didn't talk about it at all, but he kind of talked in kind of vague ways anyway. So, I mean, you would have to, slavery was ubiquitous as it was part of the culture. It was part of the economy. But there were a few voices here and there that spoke out against it. And really the first recorded ones, I think it's the, Socratic dialogues and the Stoics. You have to look at the Greeks to find the first people, the first philosophies, the first ideas to speak out against one person owning another. So maybe they're inspired by God. I don't know. So I have no questions, really, just observation there. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. I guess we'll talk to you folks later. Salut.